It's a nice, wet, overcast Monday morning. Watcha. Yeah, Monday. I was thinking about going up the other end of the lake, but then I saw 2 or 3 fish rolling, so one rolling down there, one over there, and I think, where was the other one? I think it was right in the middle. So let's fish about. There's always fish in these reeds there and over there, always. So yeah, I decided on 2. Right, I poured myself a cup of mulligatawny soup. Decided against coffee today. I'm trying to give it up, to be honest with you. Well, not give it up, but drink less. Well, that wind's still pushing from the south-southeast. It's going to swing round to the south soon, and then south-southwest, so it should be coming basically back towards us. Back this way. Left to right. That's the thing about winds. If a new wind springs up, I don't tend to just get on the end of it. I think the reason for that is I've learned that it normally takes 24 hours of a wind blowing for it to really have an effect on the lake, and it obviously needs to be a decent wind. The carp won't always be on the wind just because the wind is blowing. I'll have fish rolling over there. A small one. It's only if the wind has an effect. It has an immediate effect to a certain degree. Puts a ripple on the water, gets the movement going. But for those conditions that I think really switch fish on the end of a wind, it needs to be blowing harder and it needs to be blowing a little bit longer. So that's the reason why I decided, because this wind hasn't been blowing. It's been blowing southerlies and southwesterlies for weeks now, so yeah. And that's what it's going to switch back to. So I think what's happening at the moment is the weather system's moving over us, and of course the weather systems are circular, so the wind directions are going to be different. As the system moves over, the wind directions will change. So I got some more packets of hooks from Jason, specialist sharpened hooks. They're sharp. So over the last sort of weeks that I've been catching, I've noticed that I've been getting beep 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 beep. Now you could say that it's a rudd picking up the bait, etc., etc. But it's got to be a big rudd to get a 16mm boilie in its mouth and be able to pull it along enough to lift that bobbin, especially now I've gone back over to the heavy bobbins, and that was the reason I went back over to those, having the weight right on the end, because I thought to myself, okay, well if it's a rudd picking up the bait, let's see if it can move that, because it really shouldn't really be able to, because of the inertia needed for starters. It would just pop off, and so you'd get a rod top knock. But I still got one. Beep 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 down. Now the last fish I caught from here, fish known as the leather, the run on that, it went beep beep beep. So beep beep, and when it goes back down, that's when they've basically got away with it. So I ran out of hooks, so I was sharpening my own, and I went on like that for a few weeks, and I got these knocks, like I say, and I thought, I'm not sharpening them well enough, because these are carp getting away with it, I was pretty sure. So that's why I got back in touch with Jason. Yeah, I should have got back in touch sooner, but there you go. I've also got some of Jason's specials with me as well, pop-ups. They're very good and they catch an awful lot of fish. Let's see if we can get a bite, eh? So the wind is changing. So over the next 24 hours the wind is basically going to go in a full circle. So at the moment it's blowing from south-southeast, which is that direction, and it's going to move to the south, which it's done. Then it's going to move to the south-southwest, which is that way, then west, and it's going to move to northeast, and then it's going to be coming back from the east by Thursday, Friday. And Friday, when I get here, if I come here Friday, it'll be blowing an easterly. I then might get on the end of that wind. So I'll watch the wind carefully over the week, see how it's blowing. And if it's blowing a good, I'll fish 24 hours before I get here on Friday, which I think it is, it's due to, then I think swim 6 might be worth a go. Right, left hand rod tip is banging. Now, I've watched the rudd swimming backwards and forwards. I'm pretty sure they can see the line, but they seem to run into it sometimes, and you can see the line in the water move left or move right. But they also flick against it too, and often you get those rod top knocks where they're flicking against the line. Well, I've no doubt they're having a go at the pop-ups out there. There, you see that wind is swinging, slowly but surely. A big one rolled just there. There's a lot of fish rolling in this bay today, and quite a lot of them out in front of me too. So I'm hopeful. See, that wind is definitely changing. The weather as well slightly. You can see some clear sky up there. But there's plenty of cloud around, so I'm not too concerned about that. It's supposed to be warm today as well, 23 degrees. So, warm and wet is what you want. Bloke time. Well, I'll quickly show you this one. Not one of the big ones, but one of the probably self-breed commons that's got himself to doubles. This one managed to get in the reeds, so I had to use the boat just down there to get it out. Luckily I didn't have to go out too far. That's 14 pounds. Solid little thing. Apart from getting in the reeds, it didn't really give me too much trouble. Right, I'll quickly pop that rod, pop that back I mean, and get the rods out. It went bleep, beep, off it went. So that was one of Jason's specials. Yeah, first fish, it's always good to get a bite, isn't it? Definitely. So I've popped a fresh rig out, another pop up on it. It seems to be working. The wind swung round to the south now. And hopefully it'll start pushing this way at some point. But it doesn't seem to matter too much because there's plenty of fish moving around here and I've had one, so. And it's what? Coming up to 8 o'clock. I think I had that about 15 minutes or so ago. I have to get some more lead stuff. I bought half a dozen last week. I've got 2 of those left. I've got some others that I can use. But, yeah. So, I'm going to have to order some off the internet. I think I'll do that now. Because if I do that now, I'll get them tomorrow. Fish are still rolling. Well, I've ordered 8 leads. That fish dumped the lead, obviously. Good. You want them to, because all these reeds and everything. I've got a few more left, and I've got some alternatives, so it's not desperate, you know. But I do think that the way I'm using it, the rig, and the way I'm setting it up actually is helping a lot, and it's just based on weeks and weeks of fishing here now. You know, I've increased the length of my hook link as well. Right. Time for, I think I might have a biscuit. Well, the wind has swung round to the south. It was supposed to swing round to the southwest by now, but it looks like it's not going to do that until the rain comes at about 12. And it's about, well, it's 9:30 now, so yeah. So we had that fish a couple of hours ago now. Oh, there's one. Nice common. Possibly mirror, I don't know. It looked like a common. A couple of fish have rolled to the left of me, one to the right, and then that one there. A couple of small ones off the reeds. So they're sort of dotted around this area where they're rolling. I changed the pop-up on the right-hand rod to a Vanilla Spice. That's white. That is an interesting thing. I use a little management system that Facebook supplies for my Facebook page. And for some reason, lots of old comments come up. Lots of old posts came up. So I started reading through them. And one of the oldest was a question I posed. If you could choose two colours, which ones would they be? And yellow and red came out to be yellow and white came out to be the most popular colours of 30-40 comments. Red was the third one. That's what I'm using at the moment. I've got one of Jason's specials on the left-hand rod, which is a yellow pop-up, and my Vanilla Spice on the right-hand rod, which is a white pop-up. You can always sit there and second guess, but there's nothing like spending a day fishing, trying it out, and especially in good conditions like this, to see what you can pick up. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Well, it's still rolling, that one, over deep water, and there's the bubbles coming up. Yeah. Well, I got that first fish, I was thinking, might be on for a few this morning. And still might, of course, but you always want more. This is the reason, really, I guess I like to fish the short sessions. I try not to spend any time on the bank that really isn't productive time. That wind is still pushing from the south, blowing hard sometimes, but really not hitting the water that much because it's a bit protected on this end of the lake from southerly. There's fish rolling still, like I say, around this area. A few I've spotted up the lake. It's not exactly a quiet morning, but it does feel it in a way. I guess it's because I expected those rods to go off a bit more. So I shall definitely stay until the evening. See what it brings. Well, time. Oh, we've got another common. This one's considerably bigger. I'm absolutely exhausted. Oh. Let's take a moment. Blimey. Get you cleaned up. Got a little bit of silt off the bottom of the lake, and it's in the mat, or in the waste, in the sling. Right, I'll do my best to pick this one up. It's enormous. Good boy. Good girl, I should say. Oh, there we go. £37. A common carp. How about that? That's a beauty, isn't it? That is anything. And it really weighs. Oh. There you go. Right, a few pictures. You're being good, aren't you? Oh. One more time for the camera. There you go. £37, spot on. That's what you're here for. Right, I'll quickly get the camera on. I rested the fish for about 10 minutes, in this out there, 10-15 minutes. And rested myself, I was just exhausted. Hell of a battle. Oh, I managed to keep it out of the reeds, I don't know how. What I do. Right, let's get it done. Well, both rods are back out. As you can see, the wind isn't behaving itself at all. But does that really matter? So that was on one of Jason's specials. Must get some more of them. I'm not sure he does them anymore, to be honest with you. I'll have to find out where I can get them done. Yeah. So swim baited up with a couple of handfuls. Oh, told you, didn't I? I've changed the size of pellet. Yeah, I had to, because the fella I get them from, he does me a good price. It's cheaper than the internet, but he only had 17 mils. And to be honest with you, I'd much prefer to use these. They last a lot longer in the water, you know, a whole morning in fact, so yeah. A little bit less catapulting, but not a great deal really. The good thing about them 17mm pellets is I can fire them with a catapult right to the other side there. That was a lump, wasn't it? Bloody hell.